Namaste. My name is Tim Halloran. I'm an astrologer from Savannah, Georgia. This is a weekly astrological forecast. You can purchase readings from me at the link below, and we're actually offering a summer solstice sale from now through Sunday for free transit readings with the purchase of a natal chart reading. So this is a somewhat magical and special week that we're going into. It's also exceptionally hot here in Savannah. It's certainly summertime. We've got the longest days of the year going on here in the northern hemisphere. And we've got a new moon going on today. And we've got the summer solstice going on this weekend on Sunday. So, where to begin? We had the moon move into Gemini on Sunday. The moon's going to move into Cancer actually tonight following the new moon. On Friday, the moon's going to move into Leo for this weekend. And we've got two wonderful grand trines going all this week and during the new moon today. One of them is between Jupiter and Uranus, actually trine to asteroid Pallas Athena. And the second is Mercury, grand trine to asteroid Ceres and the moon's north node. And these two grand trines going on at the same time of this new moon is really giving us a wonderful opportunity to broaden our perspective, to step into the new, to expand our social circles, to extend our conversations to perspectives that we may not have heard from before. Really, this Jupiter trine to Uranus is this very progressive, expanding, forward-pushing opportunity. And we do have this intention with this new moon. And I always recommend with the new moons that we do some type of conscious ritual or prayer or simply intention. We want to make ourselves aware, particularly of the moon cycles, because this affects our emotions and what's kind of currently going on in our life. And it's most apparent to us to track these kind of moon rhythms and cycles. So this new moon is in Gemini, and it's at 25 degrees Gemini. The moon's actually moving into Cancer tonight, so we're actually wrapping up Gemini season this week. And we're wrapping up Gemini season with the new moon conjunct Mars. And there is some very restless, powerful, ambitious energy that's going into the new moon. And the intention that we can put into this new moon is for one of learning. We want to learn. We want to grow. Gemini is the student. It's all about learning, reading, writing, and it's also communication. We really want to develop our means of communicating. And really what the overall recommendation for this week is to practice and intend, put some real intention into this new moon, into the summer solstice for emotional intelligence. Now what I mean by that is as we're doing our broadening and our reaching new people and our opening up, the new moon conjunct Mars can kind of give us this kind of sharp, fiery, edgy, potentially frustrated, potentially angry energy. Yes, we could have been experiencing a little bit of this throughout the past week, particularly over the weekend as we had the sun exactly combust Mars. And Mars is the god of war. He does have this somewhat sharp and ferocious, it's really a seriousness. Mars is determined. Mars has his goals in mind, and nothing's going to stop him from getting there. So this new moon is a wonderful opportunity to put intention into building new goals, new ideas. What do we want to learn? How can we get there? What is our intention? Especially in terms of learning. What do I want to learn? Particularly in terms of conversation and emotional intelligence. How can I communicate in a new way? How can I learn a new perspective that allows me to see myself and others in a new way? And this is why there can be this general broadening, this expansive, this progressiveness that can involve meeting new people, hanging out with new people. This can involve therapy or counseling, simply getting an external point of view that's not the typical point of view that we would normally have, and kind of reaching out for help, for the new, for different perspectives, broadening our scope of experience, broadening our learning. And the best way to learn is through experience. And the intention that we can put into this new moon extends throughout this entire week, as really the time for planting seeds of intention extends from the period of the new moon to the half moon. That's really not going to happen till, next week, early next week. So, we can sow seeds of intention. Also, we can do this on the summer solstice. We can sow seeds of intention of what we want to see grown through the next 6 months. You know, this is a time period where we can really prepare for the future, sow seeds for the future, sort of prepare ourselves with what knowledge we need to know, with what protection we need to feel secure, to feel safe, to extend ourselves into these social circles, to extend our networks and our connections and broaden to more people so we have more safety, so we have more options, more perspectives to communicate, more potential to learn in differing ways. Gemini is diversity of learning, diversity of experience. We don't just want one person's opinion. We don't want the same blunt, blatant advice time after time after time. And we can, you know, sort of look at the long term and see how we can put intention into this week to, you know, allow us to progress through the long term in the most gentle, the least ferocious, the least fierce way. As this new moon conjunct Mars can have a little bit of this fierce energy. Yeah, so let me exemplify this fierce energy as this new moon conjunct Mars is also conjunct my sun. And I'll make this a little bit personal for a second to exemplify this energy and also to talk about myself for a little bit, as I'd like to put out a nice friendly reminder of who I am and what I'm doing with these videos. And what I'm basically doing is approaching you from the perspective that I am a fully flawed, limited human being very early in my learning of anything, let alone astrology, let alone emotional mastery. I am someone who has, in my entire life, always experienced frustration and pain and periods of depression, and I'm not through that period of my life. I'm still working. I'm still a human being. I still have limitations. I still have flaws. Therefore, if anybody gains anything from this readings, that's great for you. If anybody still wants to get readings from me, that's totally fine, but I'm putting it out there and making it crystal clear that I am not a perfect human being and that I am not enlightened at all, okay? And this is kind of, you might feel how there's a little bit of a fierceness, a little bit of a sharpness there to what I'm saying, and yet I think it's very important. Thus, I'm communicating it. This is the type of energy that we're dealing with this week, is there can be this drive, let's put our desires out there, let's make crystal clear what I want, what I don't want, what's working, what's not working, what needs to change, and what I'm open to receiving. We can put a lot of very good intention into this type of energy this week. As long term, we do have Saturn just moved back into Scorpio last weekend. Neptune did just turn retrograde and will remain retrograde for the next 5 months. Saturn is in Scorpio for the next 3 months. The Sun's going to move into Cancer next week, on Sunday actually this week, the summer solstice. And then throughout Cancer season, the Sun, Mars, Mercury will oppose Pluto in Capricorn. And there is a mutual reception going on between Pluto and Capricorn. Okay, Pluto rules the sign of Scorpio. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is in Scorpio, so they are in signs ruled by the other party member, yes? And this is a mutual reception. And essentially, when we're dealing with Saturn and we're dealing with Pluto, there is a seriousness here. There is a bit of a seriousness with Saturn going back into Scorpio because Saturn learns through scrutiny. Saturn learns through taking things very, very seriously. And transiting back into Scorpio, that means from now for the next 3 months, we are scrutinizing and taking very, very seriously our deepest emotions, our karmic relationships, our emotional relationships with the people that are most important with us, and our deepest, sort of shadows and insecurities. Scorpio is the underworld. And I really don't like to give the underworld a negative connotation. Saturn moving through Scorpio is not negative. Saturn moving through Scorpio is an opportunity for us to descend into our own underworld and understand how we can evolve our own emotional relations to other people, our own most intimate, most complicated relationships between ourselves and other people, and our own fears of sexuality, of power, of money, of resources. I mean, this is why Scorpio gets this reputation for being dark and scary, because it is this sort of serious, deeper stuff. And Neptune being retrograde now does kind of lift the smog screen, and we really can see apparently, all of this stuff laid out in front of us. And that's the real opportunity with these transits going on. As we have the opportunity, you know, as we talked about last week, it's like the veil can be lifted and we can see where we are, where we'd like to go, and potentially the little hurdles, the little challenges that we can get through in order to get there. So let us put very good intention into this week of establishing this, of understanding the way I just admitted to you, I am not a perfect human being. I have plenty of stuff to work through, and I'm very aware of that. And yet I still come here every week and I open up and I present myself to you, even though I'm an extremely emotionally expressive person, which means that you see from me when I'm in a good mood, when I'm not, when I'm dealing with negative stuff, when I'm not. And I just have to be completely upfront with that's who I am and that's who's speaking. And there is stuff that I can do to improve my life. And I do want to improve my life. I do want to be more stable and less angry and less prone to being thrown off by other people due to my sensitivity. This is the path that we're all on. But we need to admit to ourselves where these issues are, where we have the potential to trip up. That way we can reach out to other people. And what we're also learning to do through the midst of this process is we are learning how to communicate with emotional intelligence. So the summer solstice is this Sunday around noontime. So this is another opportunity. You can put conscious ritual, conscious magic, conscious prayer. Sunday at noontime is the longest day of the year. This is also the time when the sun moves from the sign of Gemini into the sign of Cancer. So we're dealing with the Gemini-Cancer cusp. And this cusp sometimes gets called the cusp of magic. And I think it is the cusp of magic because this is emotional intelligence that we're talking about. And in this day and age, I don't see anything more important or more useful than emotional intelligence. I don't know a better way to end all the wars, all the poverty, everything in this world better than emotional intelligence. Because what emotional intelligence means is we are essentially fusing Gemini and Cancer. Gemini is the left brain, the rational, scientific, intelligent magician who goes out there and labels and breaks apart everything. And this is where this new moon is conjunct Mars. And the Martian kind of fierce energy says, I want to set out. I want to learn. I want to break apart and dissect. These are my goals. This is what I want to learn. This is what I hope to communicate to other people. This is what I hope to teach. This is what I hope to be the student of. It's laid out. It's there. It's apparent. And we feel it, and we feel the drive, and there can be a little bit of anxiousness, and really what it is ambition, passion to go forward. And we're taking this energy with us into Cancer. And what is Cancer energy? Cancer energy is the warm, nurturing, welcoming, soft, watery energy of the moon, of the goddess, of the lady of the lake, of emotional sensitivity. So what, emotional intelligence really is that we can simultaneously break apart and dissect and know what we want to teach, know what we want to learn. The goals, the challenges, the pros and cons are there. And we can express this, we can communicate this, we can live knowing this in a gentle, safe, secure way. Because it can be very easy with the Martian Gemini energy. The way I just came off, it can seem sharp, it can seem fierce. People can take it personally. People can be offended with raw, unfiltered, left brain. This is what I want. This is what I can't do. This is the challenges. And there can be this frustration that is there. There can be this rigidity that comes from seeing with crystal clarity what you are, what you aren't, and it's black and white. This is Gemini. Gemini is two columns, black and white, and they don't meet. It's divided. And there is an intensity that is there. And that intensity, conjunct Mars, can hurt other people, can hurt ourselves. The anxiety, the Saturn moving back into Scorpio, I feel this stuff, I'm not completely through the stuff that I've been working through for years. I feel that I'm almost there. I feel the drive. I have the power. I have the capability to get there. But there can be the frustration of I'm not quite there yet. I'm not perfect yet. I'm not enlightened yet. Which is why we must come in with the maternal Cancer energy and cradle and nurture ourselves, pat ourselves on the back, on the shoulder, and say, it's gonna be okay. This is life. Just relax now, go with the flow now. We need that motherly, maternal energy. We need to bring it into our own minds as we tend to speak to ourselves, rather rigid and pro and con and pass or fail, black or white. You know, it's always this life or death situation going on in the mind. Okay, and we need to calm our own minds. We need to have sympathy for our own minds. We need to nurture our own minds. We need to talk to ourselves gently. We need to forgive ourselves. Just because we're not a perfect person, just because we can't always make everybody happy, just because we can't always be perfectly positive ourselves, only means that we're a human being who therefore needs to extend our own maternal and paternal energy to ourself. We need to extend the warmth of the mother, the comfort of the mother, the care of the mother to ourself. We also need to extend the guidance of the father to ourself. Yes, it's gonna be okay. It's just life. You're a strong person, you can handle it. This is what we're learning to do, and that's where the magic of the summer solstice and emotional intelligence can really be harnessed and brought into our life. Yeah. So we can really take advantage of these two grand trines going on, Jupiter, Uranus, asteroid Ceres, and Mercury. Some very healing conversations can happen throughout this time. And we can, you know, really learn a lot and grow a lot in terms of emotional intelligence, and then we can take this energy with us into summertime. We can take this energy with us into the next month, where we do have Cancer season. We have a full moon in Capricorn. That full moon Cancer season always has to do with the security axis. It has to do with the mother-father axis. It has to do with us healing the past age that was distorted in terms of patriarchy, and now we are rebalancing it in terms of maternal softness. And this new moon going on today is T-square to Chiron, opposite to Lilith. So themes that still have to go deep inside of ourselves, deep into the past lives, human history. We are all a part of this human history. We are all human beings. Therefore, we all have this stuff that we can be ready and willing to confront, to lay out in front of us, and simultaneously be gentle, be patient, be forgiving enough with ourselves to embrace our own human nature, to accept the fact that we aren't quite there yet, that we are moving, and therefore we can enjoy the ride. And who knows, maybe we can even share things as we learn them. We don't have to be perfectly enlightened to be able to have very educational, learning, expansive, uplifting conversations with one another. So let us explore these areas with one another this week. Let's put a lot of magical intention into the summer solstice, as the days do start getting shorter afterwards, and that is okay, because being a human being means we're made out of the light and the dark. There's nothing wrong with either. The darkness is what we need. We need more darkness. We need more mystery. The darkness is also our emotional security, the primordial mother that holds us even after death, even after everything disintegrates into irrational, inconceptual chaos. That is the primordial mother holding us. That is that darkness. That is that mystery. We want to embrace the darkness. We want to be okay with nature. We want to be okay with human life. And that is where true magic comes into play. So let us, embrace it all. And I'm wishing all the best to you and your beloveds this week. This is the final week of our summer solstice sale. So from now through Sunday, you can purchase a natal chart reading. And included with the natal chart reading that you purchase is a free transit reading for the upcoming year to see what natural cycles we are progressing through. So, all the best to you and your beloveds. I'd love to hear from you. Please comment below. Namaste.